So since you have already seen the introductions and what are the portions we are going to cover, very quickly I'm covering this particular slide. So mainly I'm going to cover the highway planning with respect to the different kind of the surveys, with respect to the existing conditions, how the roads are playing the major role, that we are going to cover in the first unit. The second unit mostly it is depending on the geometric design, various horizontal curve, the vertical curve, super elevations, different kind of that design parameters are there with respect to the highways as well as the road infrastructure, that we are going to cover in the second unit, highway geometric design. Then the third will be the traffic engineering. So other than that, some of the traffic parameters are there. Example, the volume, speed of the vehicle, accident study, parking study. So different kind of the So different kind of the traffic parameters is there. So that we are going to see in the third unit. So it will be the what we can say, the components you might be seeing it is a lesser one, but when we are talking about that individual component, it has a plenty of the information to learn. So probably all the classes we will be engaging hereafter to cover all the three units. But let's see how it is going on. And this will be the assessment method. Probably you might be discussed in the last class itself. We have the assessment 1, assessment 2, as well as assessment 2 is considering as a quiz exam. After the fifth unit you might be having, then the 20 mark assignments tutorials will be there, since we are playing with the problematic paper. Second unit, third unit, and the payment mix design also, some of the problems will be there. So the design problems will be there. Probably you might be getting a tutorial as a class assignment. Then the final assessment for the 30 marks. So this is an a weightage. Probably you might be knowing all the details. So directly I'm moving to the first unit. So the first unit is nothing but the highway planning, and these are the sub components. Each and every components we will see one by one in thoroughly. So first we are going to study what are the different modes are there with respect to the transportation, like airways, waterways, the different modes are there, right? So what is the advantage and disadvantage, that we are going to cover with respect to the knowledge of the fundamental on transportation, and how the growth happened with respect to the transportation system. So that we are going to see as a first component. Second, the different characteristics are there with respect to the road transportation. Then the developments are happened. So before that freedom, so after that, the initial days, how it is happened, and how the growth happened, currently where we are with respect to the technology. So that highway development we are going to see in the first unit. Then we have the classifications. You might be knowing the national highway, state highway, village roads and all. So how it is classified, what is their criteria? So those classifications of road along with different kind of the network pattern, that we are going to cover in the fourth component. The fifth one will be the initial principle of highway alignment we are going to see, and what are the factors are controlling that alignment, that principal concepts we are going to see, but the detailed problems and the design, everything we are going to cover in the second unit. Then the engineering surveys, different kind of the surveys with respect to the conventional method and the modern methods we are going to see. So here the components a little bit easy for you people, because you might be already covered the components in the surveying and geodetic surveying and advanced surveying techniques, and probably you might be studied the conventional and the modern methods. So with that applications, how we are doing engineering survey in the field of highway, that we are going to see. The final component is nothing but the cross section of urban and rural road. So if I'm not wrong, during your first year when you was in the campus, I have taken 2 lecture on the introduction to civil engineering. So there very briefly we have a scene about the cross sections of the roads as well as the different applications of the signboards marking along with some ITS applications, the automatic braking system. So this is the component we have covered. So those same component a little bit elaborated manner we are going to see in the last components, which is nothing but the typical cross sections of urban and rural road, particularly their cross sectional elements we are going to cover. And these are the major component, nearly 7 components are there which we are going to cover in the first unit. Okay, so one by one we will see. Today the first lecture we will start with the different modes of transportation. So basically, what is the meaning of transportations? That you should know, right? As a civil engineer, you might be knowing what is structural engineering, what is the foundations engineering, and environmental engineering. So these 3 major specializations you might be started the basic subjects, and this will be the your TE1 transportation engineering first subject you are studying in the name of highway and the pavement engineering. So let us start with the transport. So the transport is nothing but the term which is derived from the Latin words. So it has 2 components, trans plus portate. So it is a Latin word and it is considering as an across and to carry. So what exactly it is meaning in the sense, we are transferring goods or people from one place to another place with respect to the existing facilities, that is considering or referring as a transportation. So this is in the typical definitions of the transportation. We are transferring goods or the people, that means the physical movements are happening from the one place to the another place. So the origin will be there and the destinations will be there. So A to destinations, the movements are happening using the various facilities. Example, the bus will be there. For transferring the bus, we have the road. So with all these facilities, when we are making that activity, which is nothing but the transfer activity, so that is defining and considering as a transportation. So hope you might be getting the meaning of transportation. Now you might be asking the questions, what is meaning by the transportations engineering? So that's what defined over here. So transportation engineering is nothing but the application of technology and scientific principle. Okay, so we are transferring one place to the another place. Okay, for that we have to provide some facilities, right? That facilities is nothing but the applications of various science and technology. Example, the bus systems we are provided. Somewhere we have provided metro facilities, monorail facilities. So all the technological facilities we have provided, right? So how it is provided? It is an applications of our engineering field, that is considering as a science and technology. So when we are trying to adopt and apply that science and technology to develop the proper planned functional design, operations and management of that particular facilities to encourage that transportation mode to run between one origin to the destinations by providing the safer, efficient, comfortable, convenient, economical and environmental friendly mode. So that is considering as an transportation engineering. And the main motivation is to transferring the people or goods from one place to the another place. So this is a definitions of the transportations engineering. I hope you might be getting a clarity about the meaning of the transportations and transportations engineering. So this is a major term you should keep in your mind. So with that introductions, we will move the next component, transport technology development. How the technologies are happen. So I'm not talking about the recent development. We start from the day one, when the human birth started day one. So how the transports are happen from that now where we are. So that we can see how the growths are happen. So initial days, how the things are happening in the sense people are walking one place to the another place. So their foot, okay, their walking mode, that is considering as a transportation mode when they are planning to shift one place to the another place. So this is for the passenger. When it is coming to the goods or something they want to transfer, what they have done in the sense. So this is a way they have done for transferring the goods one place to the another place. So they are keeping in their shoulder and they are transferring that material. So this is the way they are transferring for the little materials. When it is coming to the little bit more quantity, then they are using the litter. So one place to that another place, two persons will be there. With that, we have that wooden wala. So they are tying actually. So then they are transferring. So this is the way they are transferring the goods. The same concept they were adopted for the passenger also. So whoever is not able to what we can say not able to walk, so they might be using this kind of the litter facilities for the passenger also. So that what we can say that old epic movies and all you might be seeing how the things are happening. So example the Bahubali. So this is the way they are transferring the passenger from the one place to that another place in the initial days. So then later it, so this is then typically okay with respect to the without any facilities. Then the little modifications. So with respect to the what we can say comfort level, they're increasing. According to that, they try to provide that later facilities for the passenger. So this is the way initially it happened. So for transferring the goods or the people from the one place to the another place by walking or the litter facilities. Then the later what it has happened, they try to start using that animals. So nowadays also we can able to see the different kind of the animals are used for the transferring the goods from what we can say one place to the another place. So these are the some of the existing pictures how the donkeys are used, camels are used. Still we can able to see there are just around areas under they are using and other animals also using in that India. Then the sleds. So this is the things they have used. So this, so far what we have seen. So everything without the technical contributions. So the technical contributions basically when it is happen or when it is recur in the sense people are started their life together. So they formed as in a small village. Then they started agriculture. Then the transferring goods from that trade marketing and all they have made it. So when it is in a single person to single person, it was simple. So but when it is coming and forming in a group, so then there is a highly need and demand for the technology for in the for or in the field of the transportations engineering. So that's what it has happened in the sense initial days the inventions are happening in the terms of the wheel. So this is a first history or the milestone we can say the transport technology development happened with respect to the wheel. So the wheel probably it is in a roller wooden wall. So different kind of the formations are happen from the 3000 BC onwards. So this is the pictorial representations how the revolutions happen and evaluations happen in the wheel. Okay, so trial and error basis they have taken years to develop their technology and finally they have ended. So once they identified wheel is one of the best options in the field of the transportations engineering. So then they try to adopt the various concept like that bullock cart they have adopted. So various animals also they have used with respect to the cage also they have formed bullock cart and all. So this is the way how that first milestone happened in the terms of the technology. So when we try to invent that particular facilities, we are invented the vehicle. We just assume with respect to the wheel, we started and we mark what we can say. It is running on the field in the wheel. Now what is recur? Once the vehicle is ready to run that particular vehicle, we need the road, right? So we need that road infrastructure facilities. So that's what the Romans are the initiator to begin the constructions of the roads when they were ruling England to the North Africa. So they have started. That's what still now we used to say the roads lead to Rome, or the Romans road, still it is famous throughout the world. So various development are happens with respect to the road infrastructures, as well as the wheel happened. Then horse also they were using. So all combined together. So they were developing the transportations mode. So this is one example how the wheel, cage, horse. Other than that, they have prepared the and constructed the road also, which is not here, but just you can imagine it with respect to the road also. They tried and they provided the facilities for transferring the goods or the passenger from one place to the another place. So this is with respect to the one side how the road development are happening. Parallelly, they have a given importance for the ship also. So the Phoenicians are they used to travel in the ship that used to call as a galleys. Okay, so this is you might be seen that various Hollywood movies also that initial days Pirates of Caribbean. So how the things are happening. So that is happening parallelly. Okay, not only the road infrastructural as well as the vehicle facilities, the shipping also given more important during those days. So these things are parallelly happening. So when it is happening all the things parallelly, then what we can say the technology people they started inventing that vehicles. So the initially they have invented the non-motorized transportations mode, which is nothing but the bicycle. So different kind of the wheeling size, different kind of the concept, the bicycles are happen with respect to the trial and error basis. So that will be the one of the implementations they have started. So with respect to the tire also wooden tire, then the metal tire, then they have started with respect to the what we can say rubber with the solid tire, then they started with the chains with the sprockets, then air filled tire they have implemented in the year 1880s. So this is the development happened 1830 to 1880 in the field of bicycle. So then the motorized transportations, the car they have invented James Watt steam engine. So it was invented in the 17th century. Then this will be the first Henry Ford's Model T car. So this is what invented with respect to the car. Other than that, the 20th century when it started, I think December 1903. Okay, so in the North California, Wright brothers they have started history in the field of introducing the airplane. Okay, so 17th 1903. So they just made it as a first fly with respect to the power aircraft. So initially they have given the three trials. So first with respect to the 12 second, which is cover the 120 feet. So finally 59 second, they have covered 8,502 feet. So this is the things they have achieved. But later onwards, the lot of improvements are happened. So now where we are, so that you might be knowing with respect to the technology in the field of air mode. So this is the things with respect to the development, how the parallelly happened in the field of the road, ship, uh, what we can say the locomotives also in parallelly happened. That means your rail facilities, then the air facilities are happened. So now we have the different facilities in India, and one of the example advanced development which happened throughout the world, not in India, throughout the world. The one example is maglevs, so magnetic elevated train, so which is float about 10 mm above the guideway of the magnetic field. So this is in a way the electromagnetic will be there left and right on the onboard. So then the guideway it is filling with that electromagnetic. So how it is happening the concept, so you might be explore in the YouTube video, but this will be the one of that advanced technology like a bullet train you might be knowing, right? So like a bullet train that maglev facilities also one of the advanced facilities. So commercially, it is introduced in the year January 2003 in Shanghai, China. So I had personally experienced this maglev experience in Shanghai, China. So it covers 30 kilometer within 8 minutes. Okay, basically it is running from one place to that airport. It is covering the airport. So this is the things are happening. So 8 minutes we cover 30 kilometers with the speed of 440 kilometers per hour. So this is one of the advanced technology we have adopted as a maglev train. And India, it is not adopted, but in India, we may say that advanced facilities so far we have adopted is that metro rail, monorail, public BRTS, bus rapid transit system. So this kind of the three modes recently we can say as an example for that advanced technology which we adapted for the Indian condition. And this under ships, large size of the ships containers we are transferring. So most of the port we can able to see this kind of this containers. Then finally the Boeing. So how the Boeing things are happening with respect to the air transportation. So this is the things we have implemented throughout the world, and most of the facilities we have adapted for that Indian conditions also. So you may ask all the facilities we have provided, what is the scope or need we have to study in the field of the transportations engineering or the transportation system? You might be studying as a curriculum as a basics and the principle, but what is the motivations that you should understand it, right? So in India, how the transportation systems are existing, everybody knows that, including you people and myself also. So when we are not during the corona, before the corona, during office hours, when we are traveling in that particular busiest corridor, we can able to suffer or we can able to observe the congestions, how much congestions are happening. So 30 minutes corridor during the office hours, due to the congestions, it take 1 hour to cross that particular corridor. Particularly if you're from the Delhi city or the Mumbai, Hyderabad or some other Bangalore, other metropolitan cities and all, you can able to see the impact of the congestions. Also how much travel delays are happening. This both scenarios, ultimately it is happening the accelerations and the decelerations of the vehicle. So those kind of the vehicle emissions highly polluting your environmental conditions also. So this is a chain reactions how the impact are happening, and the polluted environment ultimately affecting your ozone as well as the health of the individual persons who is using that particular road infrastructure facilities. So this is one example how it is existing with respect to the congestions and delay. And when it is coming to the city or the outer city, the accident. So we are losing the people. It is happening that economic loss when two vehicles meet an accident. We are damaging the infrastructures also. So the plenty of losses are happening with respect to the accident, even though we are provided that various facilities. Then what happened? Other issues like a parking issues are happening. Okay, then what it is happening? So much vehicle growth are happening. Everybody crazy about to purchase a car, two-wheeler, or the two vehicle per house also. So the growth of the personal vehicles also happening. Then what it is happening, we are not following any traffic rules and regulations. Even though we are not following, there is a no proper enforcement system for that condition. So these are the some of that existing picture or the scenarios how it is existing for the Indian condition in the term of transportation system, even though we are providing various facilities, particularly advanced facilities. So to solve all these issues, to bring as a research outcome as well as the practical implemented outcome, we should have that fundamental about the transportations engineering concept. So what are the basics are there? What are the basic parameters are there? What is the fundamental? So all the things we should be very clarity about the terms as well as the detailed explanations. then only you can able to understand all these existing problems and we can able to provide the best solution. So with this aim is the main aim of this particular transportations engineering specializations. So in case if you're working in your UG project, or in case if you're interested in master in the transportations engineering or the future PhDs and all, so mostly you are going to work on this existing scenarios only in case if you are choosing traffic or the transportation planning. For that, definitely you need some of the fundamental in the field of the transportations engineering. So that fundamental we are going to cover in your subject highway and the pavement engineering. So hope you might be getting the clarity why you have to study this particular subject and what is the motivations and what you are going to achieve it. So other than that, when you are talking about that GATE exam or the IES exam, other comprehensive exam, in case if you are preparing, so definitely some problems will be there or some concept related questions, definitely it will be there in the questions paper. So whenever I'm approaching the second unit as well as the third unit, I will highlight with respect to the your exam point of view, not in this MSc exams. I'm talking about the GATE, IES and other exams, okay, competitive exams. So that is also one of the input for from this particular subject. Definitely it is required for your competitive exams. So other than that, in case if you're not choosing and if you're going for some of the software and all other management jobs and all, so definitely it might not be giving much impact, but as a civil engineer you should know this fundamental terms and what we can say principles and all. So you should not say that what is the meaning of transportations engineering as a civil engineer. So at least that fundamental concept you might be knowing. So whenever you are going to survey in the society. So this is the three motivations with respect to the major objective. You are going to cover this or you are going to face this particular subject in the third three units. I'm going to cover with respect to this particular concept. So hope everybody is getting a better idea. In case if you have any doubt, you post your question in the chat box, or else at the last minute I will unmute, then you can raise your question. So with this introduction, subject introductions, I'm just moving to the transportation system, how it is existing. So basically we have the highways, everybody knows that, and then the railways are there, waterways are there, airways are there, and the ropeways are there. So these are the modes which is already existing throughout the world, particularly for the Indian conditions. Okay, ropeways you might be not aware it, but it is existing. So if you are going for that thermal plant, some industrialist area, port area, harbor areas and all, so the ropeways are playing the major role for transferring the materials or the goods from the one place to the another place. The rope will be there. Even some of the hilly stations, in case if you're going, like if you are from Tamil Nadu, you might be knowing that Palani. So the Palani and all, it is the rope cars are there. So that will be the one of the example how the ropeways are existing. Then what are the components are there? When we are talking about the highway, it has a way which is nothing but the road. It has a vehicle like a car, buses. So all the components are there. Then the terminal, bus stations or the parking facilities we have. Then the control is nothing but the signalized intersection, unsignalized intersection, bridge, flyover, subway, foot over bridge. So even the police wala. So all the control we are providing with respect to the highways. So this is with respect to the one highway, how the components are there. The same we can able to provide for the railways also. Railways, what is the way? The track we are providing. Then the rail car will be there. Then the stations or the junctions will be there. Same, the signal, okay. Then the TTR will be there. The flagman also will be there. The different kind of the controllings are there with respect to the railways facilities. So likewise, all the facilities having all these four major components. So that's what I have explained here. Then development. So how basically we are doing in the sense, typically we are planning, we are evaluating the design, then we are constructing, then we are giving for the operations level, that means a usage purpose, then maintenance are happening. So these are the development, how it is happening of the individual component. Just example, you assume that in front of your house they are going to construct the road. So basically what it has happened, they are planning what road we are providing, whether the pavement road or the concrete road, what will be the budget the government is allocated. So different kind of the plannings are happening, and you are coming with a different kind of the design proposals. So the design proposals are evaluated and best one is chosen with respect to the budget that can be proposed for the construction's purpose. Then the constructions are happening, we are constructing the road, then we are allowing the traffic to use that particular road. So this is the developments are happening. Then every year or some path hole or the crack, okay, some deteriorations are happening on the pavement, then we are doing the regular maintenance process. So these are the development of the one components, how it is happening. So the same happening for the vehicle terminal and the control for the highways, railways, like the individual modes are happening. It is a kind of the chain reactions, everything having a connected together, the mode, components, and the development of the components. So when we are providing in the perfect manner all together, so that is considering as a transportation system. So this is in a brief introductions about the transportation engineering and the transportation system. Students, if you have any doubt, I request everyone to post your queries in the chat box. So very quickly, I will cover roadway or some fundamental. Definitely, you might be knowing the same. Only I have a highlighted as a point. So very quickly, we try to cover what are the advantages and the disadvantages. So basically, when it is coming to the roadway, the road facilities. So basically, it is a less capital outlay for constructing that particular facilities. When it is coming to the roadway, it is giving the door-to-door services. Your two-wheeler from your house to your office or your college. So door-to-door facilities we have a provided as in a transportation mode, as in a two-wheeler, as well as the road, flexible pavement road or the rigid pavement road, that means the concrete and all. Then the service we are provided in the all the areas. The road will be there throughout the India, village to the city. It giving the flexible service best suitable for the short distance. Within Tamil Nadu it is fine, but Tamil Nadu to Bihar, if you want to travel by the road, definitely it is creating the comfortable and the convenient issues. Then the lesser risk of the damage in transit based on the facilities what we have provided currently. Then it is cost is saving because the road facilities if you're providing, the cost in terms of congestion cost, vehicle damage cost, so different costs are involving that can be saved. Then it is a fast and the speed services. Then the private vehicle ownerships will be there. Not only rely on the public transportation system, it can be rely on that own vehicle also. So these are the some of the highlighted advantages. You may ask the disadvantage. Yes, definitely the disadvantages are there. So which already we have discussed. Seasonal nature issues are happening, like the heavy rain or the fog conditions. So the natural issues or the natural things are creating a congestions, or it sometimes it happen the failure in the payment also, drainage issues will be there. So those kind of the disadvantages we can able to see on the roadways. Then the accident, breakdown, rerouting issues, those kind of the issues can be happen. Then it is not suitable for the long distance as we discussed. Then the bulky or the traffic congestions are happening. So when it is coming to the city areas and all, the initial motivations we have discussed during the office hour city areas and all, the speed is ultimately affecting 30 minutes journey. It takes more than 1 or 2 hours also in the metropolitan area. Lag of organizations, finally, what we can say, there's a no lane discipline. So everybody mixing together, There is a no lane discipline for the car or the auto rickshaw or the buses and all. So like the developed countries, how they have the homogeneous with respect to the traffic, that is missing for the Indian conditions. We have the mixed traffic conditions for our Indian scenarios. So this is the selected advantages and the disadvantages. So other than that, some of the disadvantages are there, which might not be covered in this particular slide. So if you have an idea, you try to explore in the own. This is with respect to the roadway. Then the next one will be the railway. So maybe we will just end with the railway. Other facilities we can see in the tomorrow class. So the railway, so definitely it is a very well organized. So the scheduling will be there. The more capacity will be there. It will be the easy access. We are transferring for the long distance, whether the goods or the passenger we are transferring. And the cost is cheaper, right? The train cost is cheaper when it is coming to the long journey and all, and more safety. So when we are comparing about to the comparing with respect to the road accidents and all, railway accidents are with respect to the number as well as the severities and all less. So then what we can say, it is giving the employment opportunities other than the technical component. So these are the major advantages with respect to the railway facilities. The same like a coin, head and tail. So it has a disadvantages also. The cost of the constructions and maintenance are high. The flexibility we cannot find. So on the road, door to door facilities, service and all we have, but that cannot be possible in the railway facilities. It is with respect to the station to station. Then the scheduling also, maybe the half an hour once, the train facilities and per day one train only it is running. So the flexibilities we cannot expect like a road facilities. Then it is loss for the unsuitable for the short distance with respect to the small loads. So that's what the passenger train they have introduced, but the passenger trains are overloaded with respect to the capacity. Then there is a no proper facilities in the rural or the village area, underutilized capacities also we can able to see. Then the lot of booking formalities and the terms and conditions are there with respect to the railway journey if you want to make it as a passenger. So these are the selected disadvantage when it is coming to the railway facilities. So student, here we can conclude the today's session. Initially, we have started with respect to the definitions of the transportation and the transportation's engineering, followed by we quickly seen how the historical development are happened in the field of the transportations in terms of foot to the road infrastructure facilities, parallelly how the ship or the waterways happened. Then we have seen the vehicle development, how it has happened. Then what we can say, our facilities also how it has happened. That historical development we have seen. Then quickly we try to cover where we are right now with respect to the facilities with an example maglev train Bojing. Okay, so this kind of the different advanced facilities and the mode where we are, that we covered in the initial part of the today lecture. Then we covered why you want to study this particular subject, highway and the payment engineering. What is the motivations? What is the real scenario of the Indian conditions? What kind of the knowledge you are going to gain from this particular subject as a transportations engineer if you have the plan of the master's under, or definitely you might be having that scope for the competitive exam, else you might be having the fundamental as a civil engineer. So this motivations we have seen. Then we try to cover some of the basics. So what is the mode, what are the components, how the developments are happening, how the each one having the link. So that we have seen in a one single picture, followed by we have seen the advantage and the disadvantage of roadways and the railways. So this is the things we have covered in the today lecture, and we can see the tomorrow lecture about the remaining modes with respect to their advantage and disadvantage. So any doubt, student? So one question is, transportation system contains three components. So transportation systems, it having the three pillars. We can say three categories or the three pillars. One is the mode. Second will be the each mode, how the components are there. Then the third will be the how the developments are happening. So when we are doing all the things together on the field, so that is, we can say as a transportation system by the provided facilities. So not only the components means it will be narrowed down it. So maybe you just refer as a three major pillar of the transportation system or the three practical implemented categories of the transportation system, and each categories are modes, components, and the development of components. So this is the way we can explain your transportation system. So transportation system is nothing but you just imagine where your city. So probably the Delhi or the Mumbai. So those cities with respect to the road facilities, not only the road facilities, transportation facilities. So that is considering as a transportation system. So Delhi, you might be having the airways, roadways. Yes, only these two ways, right? Waterways are not there. If it is coming to the Chennai, then it having the roadways, waterways, then airways, since it is playing with the harbor and industrials, so you can say you have the ropeways also. So all these ways we can able to see for the Chennai cities. When it is coming to the Chennai cities with all the facilities. When it is coming to the Delhi, only that waterways may not be playing the role. When it is coming to the Mumbai, so all the facilities are playing. So this is with respect to the transportation system. So any more doubts, student? If you have any doubts, okay, anyway, I will allow Mike. If you have a doubt, you just raise your queries. Since it is an introduction class, probably you might be getting a view why you are studying this particular subject. And the class timing is 9:30, 10:30, and I'm just waiting till 9:35. Only 32, 38 students were joined the class. So probably later part you might be joined, but don't be delayed from the next class onwards. Try to join within a buffer zone of 5 minutes. So still the 5 minutes are not allowed, but still try to join as well as possible in the every lecture, not only my subject, others also. So if there is no doubt, we will wind up the today session. We can see tomorrow. Thank you, everyone.